it's a funny story in our family, right? So when our kids were growing up, my wife, she would fix breakfast every morning. We were on a routine, like it was pancakes on Monday morning, and it was eggs and sausage on Tuesday morning. Wednesday was waffle day, and Thursday was, something else, and then we ended up in pancakes. But every day of the week, she would fix breakfast before the kids all went off to school. Then the kids all grew up and moved away, and now she doesn't get out of bed till 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'm through half the day by then, so no one fixes me breakfast anymore.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Well,
I just give my stepson a granola bar.
do you? So it's just kind of it's a family joke for us.
Yeah.
All of a sudden I'm reminded of the Seinfeld episode. How was your day? Was it a good day or a bad day? I don't know if you're a Seinfeld watcher.
Yes, my favorite episode was the one with the muffin tops.
Oh, a muffin can be very filling.
Yes.
All right, so we were talking a little bit about your book and when you wanted to be a writer.
Yes.
So you work here at the university full time, right?
Yes.
I kind of think that must be your side gig, and your full-time job is the writing thing that you do?
I like to think of it like that.
How does your boss think of it?
Very supportive.
I wonder why that is. All right, so we were talking about the fact that when did you know you wanted to be a writer?
Probably first grade, and I what I had mentioned before too was that I wanted to be a talking head on the History Channel. Oh. So I've always been in love with history and writing. I also had a horrible speech problem in first grade, and I just found that writing was my way of communicating, and so I think that really stuck with me. So.
Well, obviously in my job I do a lot of writing, but I don't write things like you do. Mine's all technical writing. But I can tell you this, for me, most of what we do now is electronic, right? We sit in front of a computer and bang on the computer.
Yeah.
For me, the act of sitting down and writing something with a fountain pen, which is what I like, is therapeutic. Is writing like that for you? Yes.
I mean, I have a whole little space. There has to be a cat in the room. I have a record player, so I play a record, usually a horror film soundtrack, and that sets the mood. and I have coffee, so it's a very, everybody knows not to go into the room when I'm writing,
really?
So it's my escape.
Is the room decorated Gothic?
It's completely covered wall to wall with ghosts.
Really?
Because I collect them, yes.
Pictures of ghosts or?
No, like actual like ceramic statues and everything, yeah.
So you're really into ghosts, huh?
Yeah.
So at age 6, presumably, in first grade, you know that you want to be a writer when you grow up. You grew up in the Indianapolis area, right? Fishers?
Yeah, Fishers.
Fishers. You went through the school system. Did you do a lot of writing as you went through, primary and secondary school?
Yeah, I actually took as many writing classes as possible. I actually went to summer school for fun. The deal was my dad would pick a class and then I would pick a class.
Oh.
And so he would pick something like computer oriented, and then I would pick a class that involves like writing. So I remember one was like newspaper class, so we made a newspaper called The Scoop. I remember it. But then through high school, I also wrote articles for the yearbook. So I was always kind of doing those activities outside school that involved writing.
So did they have like a school newspaper? Did you write for the school newspaper?
Nope, the yearbook. I don't know why.
Just the yearbook?
Yeah, but we had full form articles in there, so.
So then when you went to college.
Yeah.
Did you come to Purdue?
Yes.
Okay, so you came to Purdue in the writing program?
Yes, professional writing. And classical studies was my other major. I was a double major.
Oh, so you'd have 2 majors?
Yeah.
At the bachelor's level. Okay, so I'm not sure what professional writing is.
Now that I sit here and think about it, I'm blanking on it. But basically, it has different parts. There was like technical writing, business writing, multimedia writing. So it was all under this professional writing umbrella.
Well, that sounds like a lot of things that you use in your job.
Yes.
For LTAP, right? So, that makes sense. I'm starting to understand better now, right? What about fiction? Have you tried fiction? Do you like fiction writing, or do you prefer?
I prefer
Nonfiction?
Nonfiction. I've been asked that. I mean, maybe I'll try to write like a short story, but I don't see myself. I've taken classes where I've written fiction and
You have?
done okay, but I'm more of a nonfiction type of person.
Occasionally I'll try and write nonfiction just from a therapeutic standpoint, just to spend time writing longhand. I'm not very good at the dialogue and things.
Yeah,
That
that's
seems
hard.
like the hard part to me.
I think so.
That, and I'm really an engineer, and I don't think I'm very creative.
I think you can be.
You think even engineers can be creative?
Yeah.
Okay, so you came to Purdue, you got a bachelor's degree, then what?
And then I went to Miami of Ohio, in Oxford, Ohio, for my rhetoric and composition degree, and then taught there as well.
Really?
Yeah.
What exactly does rhetoric mean?
Depends who you ask, but it could be the art of argumentation. It could be the way that language creates our world, how it's used to control, how it's used to manipulate sometimes, how it's used to create change. It's a very widespread field.
Well, outside of academia, the only time you ever hear the word rhetoric is when they talk about politicians and political rhetoric.
Yeah, it's usually used in a negative way.
Well, that's because in that way it is kind of negative, right? Always. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. So was that like a master's degree there at Miami, Ohio?
Yeah.
And then you came home?
Yes, I was always planning to, well, if they let me in, to get my PhD at Purdue.
Okay.
But I wanted to go someplace else for my master's so I could at least get a different perspective. Yeah.
That makes sense. We tell a lot of students that, but they don't often listen to us. I'm just curious. Did you have everything planned out from the beginning?
No, I knew I wanted to stay in academia as much as possible, and I knew I wanted to be a professor someday. Mm-hmm. And that was what I was doing all the way up to maybe my fourth year of my PhD, and then I was like, I don't really like teaching very much. It's just not really my thing. I'm better one-on-one. I think I'm a very good tutor.
Well, you should go to England and get a job where they actually tutor their students.
Okay, I'll do that. Then you'll have to find a new
You can work at Oxford, or I'm not trying to get rid of you in any way.
But yeah, so, and then I thought, well, actually my grandmother had passed away, and we were cleaning out our house, and I found this book about poltergeist, and it was written by a Catholic priest.
So when you say poltergeist, you mean poltergeist in general?
Yeah.
Not the movie?
No, in general.
Okay.
And so I was thinking, you know what, I really want to get back into this ghost haunted history thing again. So then I thought, I'm going to finish my PhD, and then I can just be an independent scholar, and then also just work.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you work full time, and now you've written this book, right?
Yeah.
So you have this nice book that you wrote. Mm-hmm. And it's Indiana's False Hauntings.
Yes. So
first of all, I'm curious why you decided to go with false hauntings instead of real hauntings.
Well, my intentions, a lot of my work is in the newspaper archives, and so I was in the newspaper archives looking for ghost stories, and I kept coming across stories that had logical endings, and they just kept piling up, and then I thought, there is something here. So I made a blog just for that, and then out of that came my book. So I didn't go in expecting to find as many as I did.
As many ghost stories? I've read through it. It's kind of interesting. Some of them are actually really funny.
Yeah.
Right? You kind of think, boy, people sure are stupid. like a show once said, people, they're the worst.
Yeah, Seinfeld.
You
I
got
gotcha.
So I noticed that when I looked at it, I always read the beginning, what's at the beginning, and you have the dedication in here. One is to your father, who gave you his love of history, and one's to your grandmother, who gave you your love of ghosts. Mm-hmm. Okay, explain yourself, Ashley.
Okay, so my father is very into history, so I talked about being a talking head on the History Channel. The History Channel was always playing in our house, so that was what I watched growing up. And every time we went on a family vacation, it was to some type of historical location. So we've always been a family that loves history, and that's because of my father. And then my grandmother was very, very Catholic, and so I would visit her in Michigan once a year, and we would sit and talk about ghosts. She would give me like horror stories about the Ouija board and warn me against it.
Really?
She was one of the people, she told me growing up, I want to see a ghost before I die. I don't know if she ever saw one before she died, but that was just always a goal of hers. And she always liked haunted history. So basically I would just do all this research and then bring it to my grandma's house once a year.
So you were doing research even as you were growing up?
Oh yeah, I had a little notebook and it was black pages and I used a gel pen. And I kept a glossary in the back where I would define words, and then I would print off ghost stories off the internet and glue them in there. And eventually I learned that it's actually a concept called commonplace books.
Really?
Yeah, so I've always been someone who keeps...
So you still have those books?
I can't find them, but I have some I've been doing over the years.
Oh, but you can't find the ones from when you were growing up?
No, I wish I did.
So most people are afraid of ghosts. Was your grandmother afraid of?
Not really. I think she was afraid of maybe angry spirits or demons, but she would be willing to sleep in a haunted hotel room.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess one needs to define what ghosts are. Can you define loosely the term ghosts? I mean, you use the term poltergeist.
Yeah, well, I would say ghosts are more of like a spirit that you see or hear or sense.
So this is like in Harry Potter?
Yeah.
The guy with the head?
Yeah.
Really headless Nick?
And then poltergeist, they're usually attached more to like energy and...
Like the movie?
Yeah, like sometimes people will say teenage girls will like cause poltergeist energy because they have all this like energy and like changes going on. So
really? I've never heard that.
Oh yeah.
Well, you're an interesting person. You're full of all kinds of knowledge when it comes to ghosts, aren't you?
Yeah.
I would not have known that.
Yeah.
So there's different kind of things out there.
Yeah.
So what's an apparition then?
I think that's just the visual of a ghost.
Oh.
So.
Okay.
But I could be wrong.
So when you were growing up, did you watch like ghost movies and things?
Yeah, ghost movies are about as much as I can take. People think I like horror films, but I only like ghost jump scare ones. But I did watch, unsolved mysteries. Like obviously, I like the ghost parts the best, and then X-Files, and I watched like haunted history on the History Channel and all that.
So it sounds like for you, it's more about unexplained things.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily ghosts. It's why this is happening, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. I've never been a horror fan.
No, I can't handle gore at all.
Oh, that doesn't really bother me.
Oh, it bothers me.
I mean, I've seen some. I mean, Ghost runs anything from the gamut, anywhere from The Ghost and Mr. Chicken, which you may be too young to have ever seen. Which, if you've not seen it, you need to watch it.
Okay.
All the way to, I don't know, the Amityville Horror or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
And I think I've seen the Amityville Horror, which is an old movie now, right? That had to have been in what, the 80s, maybe even the 70s. I can't remember.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, around that time.
But I remember at the time my brother-in-law took me to the theater to see Poltergeist.
Yeah.
I didn't sleep for a week.
Yeah.
But even as a little kid, we watched The Ghost and Mr. Chicken, which is an old Disney movie that has Don Knotts in it.
Yeah.
And he takes this dare to spend the night in a haunted house, sort of a thing. And man, it scared you to death as a little kid. Even Ghostbusters was kind of scary.
I can't think of the name of it, but there was also another Disney movie about a ghost. It took place in Ireland, and it had a banshee in it, and I'm forgetting the name of it.
What's a banshee?
A banshee is like an Irish spirit that is usually attached to a certain family. And if you see one, you're going to die. But if you hear one, someone in your family is going to die. So.
I don't think I've ever heard that either.
Yeah.
I can tell you that years ago there was a series on TV. I think it was called The Ghost and Mrs. Muir.
Yeah.
you've ever seen that. It was, I think it was a sea captain ghost. And she lived in a house near, I don't remember much about it. I never really watched it. I think it was kind of before my time, it was in reruns. But there's all these everything. I don't know that I ever really cared for the ghost, the whole ghost thing.
See, ghosts don't really scare me. So.
Really?
No.
Oh, we need to get somebody behind you to jump
Well,
up.
I don't 100% know what they are, you know. So I'm just curious, I guess. And I think people are scarier anyway. So.
Well, in reading your book, it seems like they're mostly either rats in the wall or some animal doing something that you.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the stories is about a rat apparently trying to stick a ear of corn down a hole so
Yeah.
he can take it to.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what kind of noise that makes, but apparently it was enough to nearly drive
Yeah.
the family out of their house.
Yeah. That's what's interesting too is some of those articles I'm just surprised they were printed in the newspaper because
They didn't have much to report on back then?
no, I think they were just entertaining to them. And I think it's just funny they wrote them in such grandiose language to really set the scene, and then at the end of it it's just like it was a cat on the piano the whole time.
I noticed that. Some of their language gets to be really flowery.
Yeah.
And so do you know, in your book, what's the oldest newspaper clipping you have and what's the most recent?
I want to say the most recent was maybe near 1950, getting kind of close, and that was only like one that was maybe that close. The other ones I started like late 1800s, so maybe like 1870, but I don't know the exact oldest one.
So you wrote the book. So the book is basically newspaper clippings of newspapers that report quote unquote ghost stories
Yes.
in Indiana,
Yeah.
right? But they're all explainable. And
Yes.
they're all explained in these articles. So you got that idea just because you had collected all these, or your grandmother had collected all these, and you thought, hey, this would be a good book.
Well, yeah, I have a blog and an Instagram account, and I would share some of these clippings, and people thought they were funny. And so I decided, nobody shares these news clippings, so I thought I would just do it in a book. And I have a website called itwasnotaghost.com, which shares clippings like that, but it's like all over the world. I could easily write a book about this that's all over the United States. But,
Really?
Yeah.
So you say all over the world, so this...
Yeah, I have some that are from England in there.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose ghosts are all over the world, aren't they?
Yeah.
Although none of these are real ghosts.
No, not.
If I remember correctly, there's at least one article in here where somebody either gets shot at or gets shot as a ghost, right?
Yeah, people get shot at a lot in the last chapter, unfortunately, because some people were shooting at them, I think probably just because they were trespassers, but some people actually thought they were ghosts, which I don't know what a gun's going to do, but...
Well, yeah, that's going to be my next question. Why are you shooting at a ghost? Aren't they just supposed to be whatever they're supposed to be? You couldn't kill
maybe
it, right?
they thought it would just flare off. I don't know.
Or ghosts are supposed to be dead, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well, then how could you kill something that was already dead?
I don't know. I don't know their reasoning behind that, but it happened a little too much. So I had to put a little disclaimer, I think in the beginning of the third chapter, just to say, like, even I'll tell my stepson, I'm like, you need to be careful of this pranks because you don't know what's going to happen. And I'll use some of these examples. I'm like,
yeah,
here's a news clipping of a kid playing a ghost and then he got rolled away in a wheelbarrow. I think that was one of the examples.
I think I read that one.
Yeah. So,
although it didn't say exactly what it meant when he had to be taken home in a wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Hopefully he was just getting medical care and he wasn't.
Yes.
But I will say there are some in there that might be actual ghost stories, because there's one that I think that took place in Indianapolis where this frat pledge was running around as a ghost. And I think he was actually capitalizing on this ghost that people were seeing around the cemetery in Indianapolis. That was a hitchhiking ghost, and it was a woman, and it was scaring everybody. So I think they thought, let's make a pledge, dress up like a ghost, and run around this supposedly haunted cemetery. So in some of those cases, people are building on this legend that's already around.
Why would a ghost need to ride somewhere?
I don't know. That's just a very common type of ghost. The ones that you pick up and then take for a ride, and then they end up disappearing. Sometimes in front of a cemetery.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of creepy.
Yeah. Those are probably the creep. I think
It's getting cold in here. Maybe we need to turn the heat on.
Yeah, but it's a very common type of ghost. You'll see it. Like every state seems to have their own little hitchhiking ghost.
So somebody that's hitchhiking around?
Yeah, so usually it's a woman, and she'll say, I need a ride, and they'll let her in the car in the back seat. They'll be driving, and she'll say, take me to my house, and then it'll be a cemetery, and then she'll disappear from the back seat. So
I feel like we need some like spooky music to
I
play
know.
like on that. I've not heard that before, but so is it like usually it's supposed to be somebody that was like died hitchhiking or what?
Yeah, sometimes it'll be maybe, I've heard a common story of just, it was a girl that was coming home from a dance and just like never made it home.
Well,
but-
hitchhiking, I don't think it's a big thing anymore, right? We
No.
don't tend to hitchhike anymore
No.
because it's dangerous or can
Yeah.
be dangerous. And so we all tell our kids, don't hitchhike.
Yeah.
But it used to be really common in the U.S.
Yeah, I was watching a after-school special from the 80s that was about hitchhiking, about a warning against it. So,
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I know it used to be a real common thing, but also a very dangerous thing.
Well, it used to be very common. For example, my father-in-law was in the Navy. He was stationed in Massachusetts, and he was from Illinois, and he would hitchhike home on leave, right? They would just that would have been back in the 50s, and it was very common for people to stop and pick you up and give you a ride to, to the next place or whatever. Today we don't do it so much, I think, because of the danger. But
Yeah, I wonder if maybe some of these ghost stories they came out of that time when people were fearful of hitchhiking or
could
seeing
be.
the consequences
like
of it.
parents making up stories to scare their kids so they didn't try and hitchhike.
Yeah,
Oh, well, I suppose that's possible.
at least with some of them.
Well, I have a strict rule not to pick up hitchhikers, so if there are any ghosts out there, I'm not picking them up.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's probably
I don't
a
want to
safe
be
bet.
talking. I don't have any desire to be talking to ghosts or anything.
Okay, well, that's good.
So to be fair, and you and I have talked about this before, is that you always get this question about hunting ghosts,
Yeah.
right? You are not a ghost hunter, correct?
No. People think I am, but I'm not. I'm more into the folklore and the history. But I actually, I work a lot with, and by work I mean I just work alongside maybe in like a intellectual way. I haven't gone on a ghost hunt personally yet, but
Well, you said yet. That means
Yeah.
you might.
I might go just to see what it's all about. But I talk to ghost hunters a lot, and they were for this book too because they run across situations where it's clearly explainable,
Right.
and if it's explainable, they're gonna tell people that.
So you don't hunt ghosts at all.
No, I'm kind of a baby.
So you're not sure you want to come face to face with one?
No. But there's some ghost hunters that are trying to convince me to go up with them, and I think I will because I feel comfortable with them, and as long as I'm not like locked in like a morgue or something, I
Okay.
should be okay.
Just make sure you're at work on Monday morning. Okay?
Yeah. Well, if I'm not, you'll know where I am.
You should let us know beforehand
Yes,
so
yeah.
we know which morgue to look in.
Exactly.
That's creepy. Yeah, so do people, when you do book signings, do people say to you, hey, you do creepy stuff?
No, they don't actually. For the most part, people just want to tell me their ghost stories.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. Or they want to tell me about a haunted place that they know of. Oh, have you heard of this place?
So do you keep track of that sort of thing?
Oh, yeah.
Really? Mm-hmm. So do you know of any haunted places? Well, maybe we shouldn't say. I don't want to make a run on something. I was going to ask if you know of any haunted places around.
One of my favorite places is the Rotary Jail in Crawfordsville, Indiana. I don't know if you've been there.
I know it's there. I've been
Yeah.
by it, but I've not been in it.
It's a museum, and they have a pretty good tour you can go on.
Yeah.
But that place is obviously haunted since the Rotary Jail itself was a very dangerous mechanism.
Really?
Yeah.
So you think there's ghosts there?
I think if ghosts are real, then they're going to be there because
So you sound like you're an open-minded kind of ghost writing person.
Yeah,
You
I
said
would say
if
so.
ghosts are real.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the answer. I'm very agnostic when it comes to it. I don't think I can answer the world's big questions. I don't have that power, so I'm not going to, but I can hear stories and go on adventures along the way.
But your goal is not to debunk every ghost story in the world.
No, I'm
Okay.
not a debunker. I'm just sharing stories that ended up being false, but I like the ones that can't be explained just as much.
So you said that, maybe the earliest is maybe mid-50s in here. Do you have any stuff from anything recent, say within the last 5 years or anything like that?
Well, in the book, I chose to stop there just because technology is becoming, it's like booming. We have TV and then like photography, and it's everything's kind of getting to the point where it's like very complicated to decipher if something's real or not. But I mean, I think the latest one I have in there does involve a TV. I think it's the only one I put in there about a TV, and it was a woman, her TV was kind of had this image of a face, and it like stuck to the TV.
It didn't say, "I'm back."
No, it didn't talk or anything, but she thought it looked like a dead relative, and then they ended up saying it was a problem with the TV, because I've had the same thing kind of happen with my TV, where if a visual kind of will stay with the old TVs.
But we're talking about a new TV, right?
Yeah.
A flat screen.
Yeah, but so I kept it within that time period. Also, ghost stories are kind of coming away from the newspapers into more popular media. So as far as like more recent hauntings, I don't know. I'm pretty much with the old ones, I think. But I think the technology behind modern hauntings is very interesting too.
So you're an author, you've got a book out, I'm sure you're going to keep writing. Are you going to stay with this topic? Are there other things that you'd like to move to, more like historical type things maybe, or things like that? Or are you going to stick with ghosts, or what are we doing?
I think my next book would probably move more towards cemeteries and gravestones. Actually, I don't see that book having too much ghosts in it. It would be more of gravestone design and stories behind
Really?
famous gravestones in
Well, that
Indiana.
might be kind of interesting.
Yeah, so it won't be scary.
I've always wondered when I'm in a cemetery why some of those stones are the way they are.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of tree stones and white zinkies. Those are the ones that are made out of white bronze. They're like,
Really?
they look blue in the cemetery from age.
Okay.
But like, I just am interested in cemeteries and cemetery gravestone design, and it's pretty interesting in Indiana because limestone, and that was used for gravestones as well.
Okay, so with just a minute or so we have left,
Yes.
tell us anything you want about your book
Oh,
and why we should all read it, other than the fact that it's pretty funny.
okay. I think this book is for people who believe ghosts or people who don't believe ghosts. I think it's just it talks to the human experience of, I think we've all had that situation where we thought we saw a ghost, but it was just something else. So I think it's a book that we can all relate to. So
Well, good luck with it. I hope it turns out well.
thank you.
I'd asked you before how many you'd sold, and you said that you weren't willing to look at it yet.
Yeah, I'll wait to see.
It just came out though, right?
Yeah,
It's
September
brand new.
30th. Yeah.
Well, congratulations on
Thank
the
you.
publishing. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
And good luck. I hope it goes well for you.
Thank you.
I hope that you don't make too much money and you can't quit your day job.
Yeah, well, that's not going to happen, but thank you.
Okay.